How many times have you seen this card? Have you ever questioned its meaning? I hope so, because the image doesn't quite align with the typical explanations given for it. I believe it's a mistake to interpret each card from Ace to 10 as having separate, isolated meanings. When you view them in sequence, they form a complete story, with each card contributing to a larger narrative. Only by seeing them as part of the whole, you can truly understand their deeper meaning. Now, let's explore one of these stories, the story told by the Wands. They speak of ambition and perseverance, from the excitement of envisioning something great to the challenges of turning that vision into reality. The story begins with the Ace of Wands, which shows a hand holding a sprouting wand, a symbol of the birth of a desire that sets everything in motion. In everyone's life, there comes a moment when inspiration strikes. It may be a new idea, a sudden realization, or a wish to create something meaningful. It's that initial rush of energy that pushes us forward, filling us with excitement about what could be. This moment marks the start of change, the beginning of something new. The Two of Wands shows a man gazing into the distance, considering possibilities that will shape his future. He holds a globe in his hand, symbolizing his ambition and desire to achieve significant goals and make a lasting impact in the world. After that first spark of inspiration, we begin imagining the future. This is where we dream, plan, and focus on what we hope to accomplish. We think about what's possible, reflecting on the broader impact of our choices. Whether it's in relationships, careers, or personal growth, we start imagining a new reality. The Three of Wands shows a figure looking out over the sea, having set his plans in motion. It represents optimism and faith that the results he desires will come. Once we've put our plans in action, there's a period of waiting. It's a time of both excitement and uncertainty. We've done the work, taken the leap, and now we wait for the results. This is a lesson of patience and trust. Progress may not be visible right away, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Like planting a seed, it takes time for it to grow. In any situation, whether it's a relationship, a new job, or a creative project, this stage teaches the importance of staying hopeful and trusting the process. The Four of Wands presents a scene of celebration and joy, with two figures raising their arms in a gesture of festivity. But who does this victory belong to? No one is arriving, and the wreath between the wands suggests an unconventional scenario. It doesn't face the person who would typically arrive after a successful venture. The celebration seems to be for the community rather than for an individual triumph. As we progress in life, we encounter times when there is something to celebrate. However, these celebrations aren't always about our own individual successes. Instead, they are often about how our work or actions positively affect others. The focus shifts from just personal success to recognizing how what we've done has benefited those around us, like family, friends, or society as a whole. The success is rarely just a personal achievement. What we create often has a ripple effect. The Five of Wands shows a group of people engaged in what appears to be an intense discussion or even a conflict. Each person holds a wand, not as a weapon, but as a tool to emphasize their point of view. If you look closely, you'll notice one person trying to speak, but no one is listening. The others are too absorbed in their own actions and ideas to pay attention. His words fall on deaf ears as everyone else focuses only on their own perspectives. It's a situation where true communication is impossible, because no one is really listening to each other. The scene reflects moments in life when communication breaks down, because people are too focused on their own views to hear one another. The lesson here is to recognize when someone is trying to share something valuable. We need to make space for others, give them the chance to be heard, and acknowledge their contributions. Real communication requires openness and respect, not just the desire to be right or have the loudest voice. The Six of Wands shows a figure riding a horse in triumph, proud of his achievement. Yet his victory seems intentionally overlooked by those around him. Their faces show no enthusiasm at all. Despite the lack of recognition, He remains focused on his personal sense of accomplishment. Not everyone will celebrate our successes. There will always be people who critique or fail to recognize our hard work. The lesson here is about self-validation. We may achieve something great, but others might not see its value or may even downplay it. It's important to remember that our own fulfillment matters more than external approval. We should appreciate our own accomplishments, even if others don't. The Seven of Wands seems to capture the determination to defend one's point of view, but in truth, it shows a figure who doubts whether it's worth continuing to stand firm when efforts made for others are met with rejection. The figure appears to stand strong amidst opposition, but his expression reveals surprise, as if questioning, "Don't you understand that I'm doing this for you?" This highlights the frustration that arises when well-intentioned efforts are misunderstood or unappreciated. At times, we face challenges when others question our choices or resist our ideas. While perseverance is important, sometimes the lesson lies in recognizing when it's time to let go. We often feel the need to defend our choices, especially when we believe they serve the greater good, but sometimes others can't understand or appreciate our intentions. In these moments, strength isn't in holding our ground, but in knowing when to step back. The wisdom lies in realizing that not every battle is ours to win. This card shows the lowering of the wands, a symbolic gesture of laying down arms, representing a conscious decision to move away from conflict and hostility. In life, we all face periods of stress and difficulty, moments when we feel the need to defend ourselves or fight against challenges. But eventually, there comes a turning point where we must decide to let go of the battles that no longer serve us. This decision isn't easy, but it's necessary. Surrendering isn't a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Holding on to past struggles only prolongs our pain. The Nine of Wands shows a tired and worn-out figure who has been through many struggles. After everything has calmed down, he feels exhausted, and his expression suggests he is beginning to question whether it was all worth it. Did his hard work actually lead to anything meaningful, or was it all for nothing? Was everything he was fighting for truly worth it? In our daily lives, we can feel the same way, overwhelmed and exhausted from our efforts. Whether in our relationships, work, or personal goals, we often face challenges that drain us emotionally and physically. We might have been defending a position, working hard on a project, or dealing with personal conflicts, and now we question whether the time and energy we've invested have truly made a difference. In the Ten of Wands, we see a figure struggling under the weight of unrecognized efforts. The figure carries a heavy burden, consequences of not accepting or acknowledging the intentions and contributions of others when they were offered. This isn't just about physical or emotional exhaustion. It's the realization that what could have been a shared success has instead become a solitary struggle. The man is now left with the full responsibility for a situation that could have been different if he had listened to or acknowledged the support offered. In daily life, the message of the Ten of Wands reflects the consequences of trying to handle everything alone, especially when help is available but unrecognized or ignored. It represents those times when we overlook or reject others' support, whether in work, relationships, or family life. This can happen when we feel the need to do it all ourselves, or when we fail to recognize that others are willing and capable of helping. Now that we've reached the end of the story, do you still think the Eight of Wands is all about fast movement? I'd love to know if what I shared resonates with you. I'm also curious if I've helped clarify other cards. Please feel free to share your thoughts or leave a comment. See you in another video. Take care.